whole show.
Just you. Just you.
Just me.
Just you, buddy.
Just me and the Rexington.
Oh, yeah. Get this thing going here.
Use gasket on him.
Pull up my notes so I look
Professional.
professional. I can't believe I've done this. Alrighty, so happy 4th of July, everybody.
Happy 4th.
I didn't have a video for you this week, so that's why we're doing this live stream. The scheduling has been hectic lately, so yeah, a lot of projects consuming up my time, not allowing me to get videos done. So, like I said, figured come at you with a quick little live stream here. So any of you that do join us, thank you. And if you are watching after the fact, you know, still, thank you for watching. So, I asked you guys to give me some questions on what you're thinking, as far as questions that you had for vehicles that we're working on, projects that we're working on, that kind of stuff. So I kind of put an agenda together here, and I'm going to answer some of those for you. First off and foremost, thank you so much for 8,000 subscribers.
Yes.
That is awesome. We've been doing this for 3.5 years now.
Almost 4, yeah.
Almost 4. I think it'll be, yeah, 3.5. Okay. Shop that Rex is letting us know what's up. So yeah, we've been doing this for 3.5. I think it'll be 4 in September.
October, something
So
like that.
yeah, September or October. So
One of
8,000
those.
is awesome, and thank you so much for the support. Really do appreciate it. Hey Rexton, watch your tail on the tripod.
He's doing some little dusting.
All right, so I guess I'll get into this. Getting into some of the projects that we got going on here. The biggest one on the chopping block right now is this CJ7 behind me. This is your Jeep that we picked up from Delaware. You guys saw that video last week. There was a bunch of issues with it that the guy had. He couldn't get it to run and was trying to figure it out. He just put this 304 in. It's a 304 AMC V8. And we've just had issues with it. And so we bought it, and basically what ended up happening was out that the distributor was out of time. You guys haven't seen that yet. That'll be in an upcoming video. But one thing led to another, and this thing's blown apart into a million pieces now, which is a little unfortunate. But we'll get it.
Shop space.
Yeah, and honestly, with just my schedule and everything that's been going on, it's been in here for like a month now. And we had an issue with timing cover, and I had to find another one, and a whole schleel that you will see in that video when it comes out, so I won't spoil too much for you. But yeah, it's been a train wreck disaster up to this point, which that's pretty usual for us. So the other project that we've kind of been working on that was left open-ended was the progress on our what's supposed to be a budget build 305 small block Chevy. That is currently a short block at this very state of the game, I think. Basically, I'm waiting for the cylinder heads to come back from Joe over at Barnum Performance Machine, and he's been super busy with stuff, and I just kind of told him, hey, when they get done, they get done. But yeah, the cam that we picked out is in it. The whole bottom end is back together. We did a whole bunch of stuff down there to, make sure she was ready to roll and be good for us. So hopefully at some point here in the next month or two, we'll be getting that engine back together, and I'll be giving you guys a video on that 305. One of the other projects that's going to be on the chopping block, honestly, it's probably going to go under the knife tomorrow, and you guys probably see the video on that in a few weeks, is the square body. The 700 R4 that we had built for it for Power Tour in 2022, that's been 2 years now already, that unfortunately blew up. So now we have to, figure that one out. If you guys don't remember, we saved the 700R4 transmission out of that Chevy S10 that we had. That transmission will probably be getting put in it, and I'll do a video on that for you guys, because then we have an event that we want to take that to, which is next weekend. So I need to hustle and get it done this weekend to have it ready for next weekend. So you're gonna go check on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so just a lot of projects going on here, and like I said, the square body is next on chopping block. That truck is so weird because I feel like once a year or once every other year something is breaking on it, and I've pretty much been through that truck front to back, and it's always just little things that you don't anticipate. Like I never anticipated this trans necessarily blowing up. The only thing that it gave me signs of is when we had it apart last year, when we put the bankrupt 350 that we call it here on the channel in that truck. I took a good look at the trans fluid while the engine was out of the truck and the whole front clip was off, and that fluid did not look good whatsoever. So I kind of had a hunch that eventually it might give up, and it gave up a little sooner than I thought it would. So it's a little disappointing, especially when I had that 700R4 fully built. I mean, that was a max build. That was a big dollar build. I had a lot of money wrapped up into that, which it kind of kills me because I think we got 3 years out of it and 50,000 miles. And mind you, some of those miles were definitely hard miles. But at the same point, too, I can't be too upset because it blew up close to home and it still drove home. So, yeah, that truck's a money pit, but it's technically never left me stranded anywhere except in Virginia, where we ironically met John down at Arcan Customs. So, next up that will eventually, potentially be coming on the channel is the twin to this Jeep, the beige CJ7 that we drug home. That's got a straight 6 4-speed in it. Our buddy Kenny is gonna end up with that at some point, but he asked me if I could get it running and driving first. So we might be doing a revival on that Jeep, see if we can get it running and driving under its own power, and then shipping that one off along with the other body. And I have no idea what's gonna happen with that Silverado. It's probably gonna get parted out. The frame's rotted out in the back, and I had ideas of maybe piecing that thing together and making it just a beater, but so many projects, there's just not going to be enough time for that. So yeah, after that, Tammy the Tahoe has to come under the knife. I stopped driving that 6 months ago at this point, and basically where we're at with the Tahoe is basically I initially bought that just for the 5.3 LS in it, and the game plan with that was to stuff it in probably one of the G-body cutlasses we have here on the channel. So basically we'll do a video, we'll gut the Tahoe completely, and then send that thing on its way. It was really fun, and I actually kind of enjoyed the little series that we did on that, and I actually drove it a bunch last summer too. You loved that thing, didn't you? That was your favorite vehicle in the entire fleet.
It smelled absolutely awful.
It smelled terrible, and it was just a rotted out pile of garbage.
It was so rotted.
It was really bad.
It wasn't bad to drive, it was just scary to drive. When your gas tank is held up by a ratchet strap, we do have some issues.
Not all heroes wear capes, buddy. Not all heroes wear capes. But yeah, so that still runs and drives good too. So that issue that we fixed with the coil on that ended up being the issue, and it still runs, and I use it around the yard pulling dead vehicles around, and what else not. Somewhere in between all this madness, we will get back on the International Scout. I do have I ordered the brake parts that I think are the issue with it, so we'll have to get that back in here at some point, and get brakes done on that. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because 2 weeks from now we have that local car show to us.
Yes.
That I'd love to have it there for that event, and I'd kind of like it to stop, preferably.
I would prefer it to stop. if nothing.
I prefer the stop too, especially considering it's not mine. It's our landlord Butch's. So
we're not trying
we're
to
definitely
Fred
gonna.
Flintstone it.
Yeah, no. So we'll get brakes on that, and I'd love to get that to a car show because it's one of those things. When's the last time you've seen a 68 or 69 International Scout that was a sport top?
That's
Like,
my first.
Yeah, so I'd love to get that out to some events just so people can see it because it's just such a cool vehicle. Because of the issues with the lifter, I'm kind of thinking that that's probably not going to get turned into a plow vehicle, just because I don't want to risk blowing up that engine. And basically, I need to determine how far we're going to go because I could just slap another lifter in it, but my fear is that it also hurt the cam lobe. And if it also hurt the cam lobe, that means I put another lifter in it. It's just going to wipe out that lifter as well because it's a old school hydraulic flat tappet setup. So really don't want to hurt that thing, just because it's all original and it's all there. So I'm not gonna make it be a workhorse and push a few inches of snow during the winter. I just
That's
can't
even
bring
if we
myself
get
to do
any
it.
anymore.
Yeah, that's even if we get any. The weather's so weird here in PA where we're from. So, we had a subscriber specifically ask about the two cutlasses and the engine game plans for both of those cutlasses. Nothing's in stone yet, and every time I think I make up my mind, it constantly changes. Because that's just the way it goes. Different engines come, kind of fall into my lap, and it's like, okay, I guess this is gonna kind of, go down the way it did. Like the whole reason why the 283, the budget build 283 that we put together last year is in Black Betty right now is because it's kind of what fell into my lap. The transmission that was in Black Betty was blown up. It didn't have reverse. It had all the forward gears, but didn't have reverse. And I always wanted to put a small block in it anyway. So the executive decision and game plan there was basically go, okay, we're just going to dump this 283 in it and at least make it run and drive. And we have that turbo 350. So it just kind of got slapped together, put in the car, and the car still runs and drives. And I haven't honestly really touched it since the last video you guys saw where we hung an exhaust on it, and something's not right with that 283, which is obvious. So basically, I think something's up with a valve seat in one of the cylinder heads. It's weird. It'll intermittently run on all 8. And when it runs on all 8, it actually sounds okay, it runs okay, it drives okay, but every once in a while, we'll just have an issue where, the cylinder, it seems like it's down a hole, basically is what I'm getting at. And I've tried different distributors, I've tried different coils and, everything else, ignition modules, you name it. And I've put a really dang good known working distributor in it, and it still does the same thing. So basically that engine, and when that engine went together, that was kind of a throw it together to make that car movable again. There was always game plans on the table for getting the 283 back out of it and doing a full true build to it, where we actually go through the entire engine, refresh the whole thing, and throw a hog of a cam in it and let her make noise. Which that's a perfect segue to another upcoming video that we will be. I really need to get my stuff together here. It's been an interesting month and a half here, just with trying to just be organized and get stuff scheduled. We do have a video coming up where we actually will be talking about one of your guys' projects. I had one of you email me about a car that you have with a 283 in it, and you were asking me what would be some good budget options to hop this 283 up. And you were gracious enough to let me actually do a video on it, which we are in the progress of working on. I'm also going to bring in some help. Our friends over at Hillbilly Garage, we got together and I was talking with Ronnie over there, and basically we're going to get together and try to compare notes and share some ideas just from our experiences and try to give you a direction on where to go with your build. And I also like the idea, because something that we've been throwing around the idea of too is potentially doing some video podcast stuff, where maybe once a month, once every few months, honestly, for how difficult I think it's going to be, what it's looking to be, it will probably be every few months or so, where if you guys are obviously up for it, what I'd love to do is, if you guys have questions or you guys have a build that you're working on, you get a hold of me, you can email us, and we'll sit there and break down, have a discussion about, what our thoughts and opinions are. And obviously we're no experts here.
No, but at
But,
least a direction.
Yeah, and we'll at least have a conversation about it, maybe give you some inspiration and some motivation and some friendly advice. So if you guys are up for it, definitely let me know. But that will be a video, hopefully, man, with the schedule too. Hopefully within the next month, and I really need to get my stuff together. So I apologize, Ronnie, because that's on me. I've been so busy.
Chasing his tail.
Pretty much. So yeah, we'll get that together too at some point. Getting back on the two cutlasses. I know this is how this goes, and this is why the videos, when you watch them, they cut so hard, because I'll go off on these rambles and talk about 50 million things, and I know that you don't necessarily are watching that video for that.
Half the
You
time
wanna-
they're not even related.
Yeah. It's two separate conversations. So, getting back on Black Betty, I'm actually going to leave this one in your guys' hands. We can either throw the budget build 305 that we're currently in the midst of putting together in it, if that's what you guys want to see, or I'm kind of thinking that the 5.3 LS in the Tahoe could be a potential option. We'll do a budget build on that and put that into the black car. If you guys watched that video, I kind of explained it towards the end, the one where we hung the doors on the race car. I kind of had a conversation at the end of that video basically explaining there's so many dilemmas between Black Betty and the street and strip cutty, we like to call it, which is our other 85 Cutlass that has a full 10-point roll cage in it that we're putting together to be a drag car, basically a street and strip car, really. So a bunch of things that kind of need to happen there, but once again, I'll leave that in your hands. Speaking of the race car, after that video where we hung the doors on it, haven't touched it yet, but the game plan is by the end of this year, no matter what, there is a driveline on it, and I don't care how hacked together it is, that car needs to run and drive under its own power, period, end of statement.
Yeah, it's been like a 4-year project at this point, right?
5.
5, oh.
Yeah, I actually bought that car before I started this channel, so it was like just before I started this channel too. So yeah, so we've had her for a few years now, and it's about time. It's about time we did something with it. So once again, that will be on the agenda at some point coming up this year as well. And the engine builds, as far as the race car, there is 2 engine builds in the works over at Barn Performance Machine. The first one is going to be a 360 small block Chevy. That's going to most likely be a somewhat nasty hydraulic roller cam. It's a 360 because it's 60 over. Yeah, it's 60 over. It's got flat tops. We'll be balancing the crank, which ironically the crank that is out of the other engine that we'll talk about in a second here, the cast crank is going in it. 4-bolt main block. It's gonna be pretty decent. Honestly, it should be somewhat, I can't call it budget friendly because there's gonna be a lot of money in, cam and lifters, like a hydraulic, the hydraulic roller that we're picking out and the hydraulic lifters are gonna be rather expensive. And then it's probably gonna get the set of aluminum AFR forcers that we did a video on a few months back, where we found out that assembled straight out of the factory that there was issues with those heads. Those heads, once again, go over to Joe over at Barn Performance Machine. Shout out Joe, I got his can koozie actually.
I don't.
And you don't. He only gave me one. We need to make more, Joe. But yeah, basically the heads will go back over there. We'll do the heads, and that engine will go together as a cast iron block with the aluminum heads on it, and should hopefully make ballpark 425 horse, maybe 450. I don't need it to be ridiculously insane, but that will most likely be the first engine that goes into the race car after whatever happens and transpires, because again, I don't know, whatever transpires with whatever ends up getting stuffed in it to make it run and drive this year. Basically, the whole game plan is to get it together this year, make it run and drive, work through the rest of the car, do the body work, get the interior together. I don't even care if the car's in primer. I really don't. As long as the body work's done, it's got a front windshield, a rear windshield, all the glasses in it, and it runs and drives. We're gonna go hammer the snot out of it, and then we'll start getting into the actual drag series build on putting that car together. That car is going to be expensive. The paint scheme that we picked out for it, which you actually helped me pick out the color, it's that, I think it's that candy apple, like metallic red.
Candy apple red.
That's going to be the color of the car. And so eventually that car will get painted. I haven't decided whether I'm doing it or not. I'm probably going to mess it up, especially with it being metallic flake.
Yeah, and it's a hard one to
Yeah, so I haven't decided on that. As far as the entire drive line, like I said, when it goes to make passes at the strip, it'll have that 360 in it first. I plan on doing a full QA1 suspension kit on that, coilovers, control arms, the whole nine. And then I think that's, again, that whole kit, front and rear, is going to be, I priced it out, it's going to be expensive. And then I think we're going to get a Ford 9-inch bill for it. And then basically with the 360 in it, it'll probably run somewhere. I honestly truly believe, if I'm being super realistic with myself, it'll probably be a low 13-second car in its first rendition going down the strip. And that will give me time to kind of dial in the suspension, see how, what works, what doesn't work. And just basically, my biggest game plan is I don't have plans to ever tub that car. I want to keep that car as original and streetable as possible. So plans on the table for tubbing it is absolutely 0 to none. And that's probably going to be my biggest sticking point on whether that car will ever run in the 10s or not.
Yeah.
Because if I can't make that car hook up, it's just going to blow the tires off of it. So it might be a great burnout car. But that will lead us into the next build, which this build's been in the works since we started Bonehead Revivals. If you guys remember, there was a Vortec 350 that we did a teardown on. I'm talking like the 4th video ever put out on Bonehead Revivals. That came from a buddy of mine, and I traded him a transfer case for that engine. The Vortec cylinder heads, they were a 906 set of Vortec cylinder heads. Those were the heads that initially got built for the budget build 350 when we put the square body together for Power Tour. Those heads are currently on the bankrupt 350 in the square body. The rest of that block I still have. That's going to get built into a 383 small block Chevy. That is going to be nasty. It's going to be a big solid roller cam, big set of aluminum heads, big single plane high rise intake. Like, I want to make minimum 550, 600 horse out of it, and I think that will potentially be the motor that might sneak that car into the 10s, as long as the car can hook up. And that's going to be all NA. No nitrous, no turbos, no superchargers, none of that stuff. I want that car to be NA. I just want it to make raw power. So that's the game plan with that 383, which that block, that Vortec block that I was just mentioning, is going to be that 383. We already have the crank for it. I already have the rods for it, which are a really, really killer set of Comstar rods. I think where that project currently is sitting is, I think a portion of the block work's done. It ended up going 30 over, if I remember correctly, which mind you, we're talking 2 years ago. This thing was already bored. I think Joe just recently, within the past 6 months to a year now, line honed it along with the 360 block. I think. So basically, what we're waiting on right now for that 383 is I need to pick what pistons I want for it, and then we can start getting a bottom end together. So yeah, and I feel bad because I haven't mentioned that engine in honestly years.
Yeah.
At this point, it's been years since I mentioned it, just because it's been that long in the making. And my biggest problem is I buy so many other projects.
Yeah,
And that's
Facebook
that's
Marketplace
unfortunately.
is a kryptonite.
I am not addicted. I could stop at any point, but the deals are just too good to pass up.
That's what every addict says.
Yeah. So, whatever. So yeah. So the 383, like I said, you guys will be seeing that at some point. That's gonna be down the road. But that covers the engine stuff that I think the one a few of you were asking about. So, as far as dealing with the cutlasses. As far as other projects coming up on the channel that hopefully you'll see sometime this year is we'll be traveling to upstate New York to pick up a farmall tractor.
Yes.
Yes, a 1936 or 7 farmall F20. It's basically the smaller version of the tractor that we revived last year. Really good family friend has that. Same gentleman that we got the brown C20 off of, that we did a video on it, getting it running and driving, and then did a full part out. And the engine that came out of that truck currently lives in the square body. That will be an interesting one. We got to go up there. We got to go drag it out of the barn and basically see if we can make it run again. And then I'd like to get that out to a few shows as well this year, hopefully.
If timing works.
If timing works, yes. So I think that covers just about all of the upcoming projects. As far as vehicles that you guys really don't see nor hear about at this moment, is probably because I drive them almost every day. The 78 Dodge pretty much gets driven 2 or 3 times a week. Our Chevy carburetor and Chevy fuel tank has been working flawlessly. The only thing that stinks is that the fuel gauge doesn't work, and I tried to mess with it and it don't work, so we just kind of,
hope and pray.
yeah, I think we'll make it there. So yeah, I drive that constantly. The Hoodrich crew cab is just such a baller truck. That thing's so amazing.
Beautiful.
That truck's, I drive that truck all the time. I think last month I probably put like 2,000 to 3,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
Driving the wheels off that thing. That will actually be at one of our upcoming events. It'll probably be at a few, which I'll get into the events that we have planned. I think we have 4 or 5 on the schedule for as of right now. That like we'll either actually do a video on, or actually be, there where if any of you guys show up and you want to hang out, by all means. So yeah, crew cabs just keeping on. Another shout out to John down at Arcan Customs. Also, because we're doing this sitting in here, John jokingly messaged me when I was posting stuff on our pages about you guys asking questions. He was like, I want to see, so he has, I forget what year the truck is, but he has this killer crew cab dually Chevy. I think it's like an
Beautiful.
I think it's an 05.
That sounds
Killer truck. Basically, it's a truck that he wanted and kind of sold the crew cab to us for to go get. He needs some parts out of Tamiya Tahoe, specifically the center console in it. And although, John, I can't show it to you in this video because we're doing a sit down live, I will bring it up and I will mention it. It's coming your way. Other engine updates. The last one I have on the list here is the budget build 350. Single-handedly the engine that has put Bone River Revivals on the map and has single-handedly changed the face of the game in YouTube as far as budget engine builds and those type of videos being super popular. I'm not going to say I'm the originator of that, but it's crazy. It's the budget build series have gotten super popular, and it's kind of cool knowing that the two video series / whatever else we've done in between kind of paved the way, and I am very grateful that so many of you have watched those videos. I think collectively between the few videos that we've done on it, I think it accounts for like 500,000 views or something like that. It's
something
insane.
insane.
Those videos kill, and I'd love to do more of them, but it's so hard to constantly try to afford building engines when we're such a small channel. Because a lot of it, what it comes down to, is it's just the cost. Um, you know, it's buying all the parts and having the machine work done over at Joe's. It comes to a point where it gets expensive, and as much as I'd love to be sitting at like 50 to 100,000 subscribers right now, if I did engine build videos every week, it's just not feasible. And also, too, I don't want to be one dimensional. I don't want to just be the budget build Chevy guy. I want to work on projects like this. I want to, share the stories of and capture, these vehicles and share them with you, because I'm sure that you guys have projects at home that you're working on, or you know you were working on and stopped. And basically my whole goal with this channel since day one has been to try to give some insight, bring you guys along with me to learn how to throw wrenches at stuff, either like physically working on them and or getting upset and throwing them across the shop. Either or is fine. I've done both. I've done both.
Yes, you have.
She can attest to it. But yeah,
I think
so
we only lost one when you did.
yeah, I think it was in my 916s.
I think so.
I think I found that one recently.
Did
It was under
you?
the toolbox or something. Yeah.
That's funny.
I get a temper sometimes, but
You?
but no, I don't. I don't want to be one dimensional with my content. Honestly, I want to be able to work on what I want to work on and share that with you guys. And hopefully, if anything comes out of all of this, whether I do this for another 3 weeks and quit, or I do this for the rest of my life, I want it to be impactful, and I want it to mean something for every single viewer watching. And I want you to be able to take something away from it, in the sense of, oh, that inspired me to go out in the garage and work on my project. Or I've had this car or truck for how many years, or it was my dad's truck, it was my grandfather's truck, it was a friend's truck, whatever. If I can inspire you to get out in the garage and enjoy this hobby, I think I've accomplished my mission in doing all this. So that's my goal, and I hope every single week or every other week, depending on our upload schedule, I hope I provide that value and give you some decent content. And obviously, if there is something that I am doing wrong or something that you don't like, please, by all means, I'm totally open to listening to what you guys want to do, because ultimately, if this is ever going to be something, we can build this into something, it's all going to be dependent on you guys.
Yeah.
You guys drive this thing. You guys motivate me, to, in the midst of working my 9 to 5 and your 9 to 5, to pick up the camera and go on these crazy adventures where we're driving thousands of miles on Power Tour, all these other trips, and buying more vehicles than I would ever possibly need in my entire lifetime. It's all a tribute to you guys. So thank you, and like I said, if there's anything that you guys would like to see different, or you want to see more of, or you want to see less of, totally open to it. Let's have a conversation about it.
Yeah, leave a comment.
Yeah. So, what else we got here on the agenda? Oh, back to the budget build 350. Circles. I know, I'm terrible. Sorry. I'm hoping I get around to that engine this year. It kind of bothers me that it's taken me this long to get to that one, because I have some plans for it in the background where it will come back and it will be better than ever. That unfortunately had an issue with coolant leaking into parts of the engine where coolant's not supposed to leak, and it was all my fault. I'll take full responsibility for that. I painted the intake surfaces of the heads, and it leaked between the heads and the gasket. It happens, but at least it's here for you on the internet, so you can go, well, I guess I'll not do that on my build. So that engine will come back. There's a lot of plans for that one. It needs to get blown down to a bare block. It needs to go over the Joes. It's going to get the whole 9. Whole bottom end's going to get refreshed. Not saying any of it's necessarily bad. It definitely needs a set of main and rod bearings, but it's going to get the whole nine. We'll probably keep the bottom end that's in it, the same piston, same rod, same crank. It is a balanced crank. It's a 2-bolt main block. But as you guys have mentioned before on the channel, it is actually a roller block. It does have the castings in it for the spiders, and when that engine was brand new, it was a hydraulic roller. Good chance a hydraulic roller that is budget friendly, to stick with the theme of that engine, will go back in it. There's potentially going to be a set of aluminum cylinder heads for it. And if there's not, I have another set of Vortec heads that we might put together for it. And that might be a full-blown Vortec, like crazy Vortec head build. So yeah, I think that covers all the projects, and I think that covers all the engines. Apologies for the rambling. A lot of stuff to go through here. 2 other things that I wanted to talk to you guys about and mention. One of the big things I know I've mentioned, I think I mentioned it last year. We are actually officially breaking ground on building a website and getting some merch together.
Yeah.
I've had some of you guys ask, hey, do you have any merch? And the shirts and the sweatshirts that you see us wear, bless my mother's heart, she made them with her Cricut. And I am not willing to ask her, hey, let's do a shirt order of 50 shirts and you know, make you slave over making shirts. So we will be getting with a shirt company to do that. One of the other things that we will be doing, and I might as well mention it now, I don't think it's going to necessarily matter to you guys right now, but I think it's something just to talk about since we're talking about it. One of the other big things that I want to do too is try to help out some of the people that are close in our lives. Yes. Our buddy John Walp with Walp Resnick Motorsports. He's actually currently running at Clinton County tonight. Good luck, John.
Good luck.
I've been trying to plan and scheme other ways that we can help the race team. As you guys know, we've been trying really hard to be more present, actually be there for races and be there in the pits, and I love doing it.
Absolutely.
Last year just got hard because we were so busy last year.
Oh my gosh. I think every week we had something going on.
Every single week. Yeah. So we only made it to 1 race last year. I think we've made it to 3.
3 sounds right.
3 so far this year. And I plan on going to more. And if you guys like that content, obviously I'll keep making the videos for that. One of the big things that I want to try to do for him is actually get t-shirts made, because all the t-shirts that he had, he sold, and those were all the old ones when the car was still orange. It's unlikely that he'll watch this, so I can actually say this. I've been working in the background on designing an actual shirt for him. And basically my game plan is to also have those listed on the website. So if you guys are interested, I want to try to do it so it's discounted. I'm not going to ask you guys to pay a whole bunch of money. That's even my merch. Like, I'm a regular Joe like you guys. I don't want to be like these other YouTubers that go, oh, because I'm big and I have such and such following, yeah, let's make my shirts like $30, $35. Like, I never want to do that, because why would, I know me personally, I wouldn't want to buy someone else's shirt if it was that much money. So we've been working on the logistics of pricing and how all that's going to work. Yeah. I do plan on also making shirts for John and Walt Resnick Motorsports. Those will probably be available on the website at a discounted price. Basically, I'll probably run a deal where at some point, if you buy one of our shirts, you can get one of his shirts for $10, and then all the proceeds that are made from selling his merch, if that you guys buy, goes right back to the race team. It doesn't even touch my pocket. It goes right back to the race team, because trying to do the whole sprint car deal is so unbelievably expensive.
It is a costly hobby.
Yeah, it's a costly hobby, and he loves doing it, and I'd love to help him get to wherever he wants to be, whether that's potentially getting back into a 410 at some point, or potentially picking him up a ride, because damn, the kid can drive.
Absolutely.
I mean,
the
I don't know
stuff he pulls out on that track is.
I can't count the amount of times where I thought that car was coming home junked, and it didn't.
And it's like he teleports, like,
out
of the way.
And if you've watched the videos, you've seen it. The kid is phenomenal behind the wheel, but it's a sport that's so unbelievably difficult, and it's so unforgiving once you fall.
Once you do.
Well, once you fall behind the 8 ball, and you have so many things that go wrong with the car or whatever else, and he's just like me and probably most of you, works a 9 to 5. So whatever he makes, you know, with his paycheck and after all of his bills and stuff, it's poured right back in to the race team, and that goes the same for Mr. Rusnak.
Yes.
Frank.
Yes.
They combined forces basically, and that was the deal with the name change. And they're both two guys basically trying to run a team. And then obviously everyone else that's on that pit crew that helps. You know, we're all in the same boat. We're all working 9 to 5s. We're all
Hustling to get there on a Friday night.
Yep, hustling to get there on a Friday night, spending our gas money, spending our hard-earned paychecks on pit passes, trying to make the kid as successful as we possibly can. So that's why I want to include that as far as what's going to happen with the t-shirts ideas. And the other t-shirts that we're probably going to be selling too is Barn Performance Machine merch. Joe is such a huge, vital part of what we do here on Bonehead Revivals, and I feel it is definitely necessary to give back to him as well. So
Absolutely.
we'll probably have a shirt, and I kind of like his can koozies, so maybe we'll do his can koozies too. And like I said, all of those proceeds will go back to the shop and basically help him out, because he has a gentleman that works for him, but he's part-time, so Joe's over there in the shop busting his tail, working on so many different projects all at once. So I'd love to help him out, especially considering how much he helps us out.
Yes.
So that will hopefully be something that you'll see as far as merch, and like I said, we're building the website. I guess as far as the website goes, it's a question to ask you guys. I had some ideas. Mainly the website is going to be a place for the merchandise, so you guys have a place to go to if you were interested in supporting the channel, and you were interested in supporting people that are a big part of the channel and their businesses. Basically the game plan was to make the website mainly for that, but I'd like it to still be somewhat interactive for you guys. I don't necessarily want to send you to a website just to buy stuff. So I've been throwing around some ideas on maybe doing like a community page that's part of the website, where you guys can interact with each other and us.
Yeah.
Share photos of your projects, what you're working on, and just have another place where we can all get together and chat and hang out.
Yeah.
So let me know what you guys are thinking as far as that.
And anything else you would like to see on the webpage.
Absolutely. Last but not least, I have a list of planned upcoming events that Bonehead Revivals will be at this year, as long as everything goes right.
Subject to change.
Subject to change, but 90% chance we will be there. Next weekend, July 11th and 13th, we will be at the Four-Wheel Jamboree in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. Hopefully we'll be there in the K20, our single cab square body, the one that's 30 different colors. You know which one I'm
We all
talking
know
about.
it.
Yeah, you all know it. I gotta put a transmission in it, but the game plan is to be there in that truck. I haven't had that truck to an event in quite some time now, and it's one of the founding.
It needs to stretch its legs a little bit.
It needs to stretch its legs a little bit, and it's a cornerstone of this channel.
Absolutely.
So we'll try to get that together for you and be there at that event. So if you guys happen to be there, stop by and say hello.
Absolutely.
Next up on the upcoming event list is the Carlisle Truck Nationals in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. That is August 1st through the 3rd. We will be there in the Hoodrich Crew Cab.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think the 1st through the 3rd is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes. Because
We
it's
will-
the weekend before your birthday.
That's right. We will most indefinitely be, depending on your work schedule, I think we'll be there Friday and Saturday, maybe just Saturday.
We might leave late Friday.
Yeah. So definitely the 2nd of August, that Saturday, we will be
Absolutely.
down in Carlisle for the Truck Nationals. We'll be bringing you a video on that. Also, we'll be doing a video for the Jamboree as well. But if you guys happen to be in the area and you're coming to the event and you see us there, by all means, stop by and say hello. The last one that is definitely 100% on the agenda and schedule is the Fall Rod Run in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. As you guys know,